How's it going, everyone? It is Friday, November 8th, 2024. Let's take a look on the picks from the last video. So, on the two earnings time spreads on IOVA and ACAM, I didn't actually get a fill on any of them. I was bidding a little bit lower, and looks like it is paying off as these stocks are certainly tanking. ACAM is actually a pretty nice short. Gets kind of a pullback here, finds some resistance at VWAP, and now it's starting to sell off. So, yeah, I like ACAM over here. Nice strong trend. It's flagging over here, breaks to the downside. Yeah, you can ride that guy lower. So no trades on those. Now on Netflix, I said, look, we want to get in on a pullback, and didn't get it yet. Didn't get it. Well, we didn't get the breakout on that first day, so that's where I would have taken it. I didn't want to take the entry on the second day because the stock was moving. It was continuing up higher. Wasn't getting the pullback I needed. Today, you can see that the market is kind of floating higher. Volume is very light. Netflix is starting to pull back, so this is what we want. It's showing some relative weakness. We lost our M15 trade signal, and we have an M5 sell signal. So once this flips back from buy to sell, you can see I have a I have a lot of alerts on this. But when this triggers on Netflix, then I think we're gonna have a pretty decent buying opportunity on this stock. So that's what I'm looking at. The pick that I did end up taking, I mentioned Team for a couple of days now, and I ended up taking it at the close. So here is what I like about Team. You can see that on our daily chart. I know there's kind of quite a bit of stuff here, so maybe I'm going to take off 1OP right now just to clear this up. Okay, so we got this downward sloping trend line break through a couple of trend lines, and we're into the gaps. Into the gap, and we closed near there. And what I liked on the intraday chart yesterday is we got this breakthrough, test, and we got this relatively strong bounce into the gap. So I got Team at the close here around 233.80. So really nice price. Now our stop here is this 231 level. This gap, this high from over here. So 231.50, let's call it. So very close to support, about $2.30 from support. And then you can see, depending on how you draw the gap, if you do the low, you have 251. If you do the close, you have 255. So I have a really nice risk reward. This is a high probability trade. This is a nice breakout with a ton of volume. If you, depending on what kind of trend lines you use, so on the 1OP now, we're through some of these trend lines here. If you put up the 1.0 balance trend lines, there's a couple that we have to get through, but with a market tailwind and a strong stock, I'm not super worried about that. And I think if we don't get through, I should have time to be able to scratch out of the trade. I like my entry, and I have a starter position on. So Team is on the books right now. A couple other stocks that I liked earlier that we are looking to get in on a dip. So Netflix was one of them. Amazon is another one. Let's zoom into this stock. So kind of slowly grinding up. Nice little breakout on the 6th. And again, right, I kind of missed this entry. You know, maybe I could have maybe taken it here at 205. That would be the entry I like. But ideally, I would have liked to get something closer to this breakout, somewhere close to 202, 203, where I can use the 200 as a stop. So it's still pretty good. Like you can, I'm not saying you can get it now, but for me, look, this stock is flagging. It's pulling back. So ideally, maybe I can get it somewhere around 208. That's not a bad entry. Ideally, I'd love to get it closer to 205. We'll have to see how choppy it's going to be, kind of what the market does. Or I really just want to see some relative strength on the stock. And, you know, kind of see pretty much where kind of what the market does on a dip and how the stock reacts. You can see it's slowly flagging, selling off. Again, I got a buy signal on this. So when it flips, I can look in the stock and see if I want to get in on it. Reddit is another nice one today. Holding some of the gains of the prior day. We are kind of compressing. Again, I have another trade signal alert on Reddit. So when it flips back to buy, I'm going to get back in on this trade. It's a nice one just to buy dips on. If we zoom out over here, right, exit, buy, here's one entry, buy, buy. This could be a scratch. You could even take profits on the same day if you want. So the buy signals on these on really strong stocks tend to be really good because they trend and they keep you in the stocks longer. So that's something I'm experimenting with personally. A really great example of that is PLTR. I actually took this as a trade yesterday. And here's what I liked about PLTR yesterday. Again, it's a really strong post-earning stock, ton of volume, ton of momentum here. Looking to buy dips intraday. So we had we had to move up over higher. Stock sells off yesterday, and we get my buy signal alert triggered here. I said, look, all right, this is a pretty, this is some organized selling here. Let me at least see a double bottom. So stock comes up over here, sees a double bottom. I set a VWAP alert, so the stock starts to breaking above VWAP. I take the position right around here, and I take profits around 56 bucks. So I get a nice little win later in the day. Still on a buy signal, and it's still going. Chopping, testing the bid, moves up, comes down, moves up, comes down. So some really nice stuff on PLTR, and I like my entry. You can see how we had this double bottom test of support. So that's kind of what I like to see, test, and when we start to break above VWAP here, that's a pretty nice entry point for these strong stocks. So that's kind of how you do it. Another one I think called out in the chat, AMLX. This is a nice one. It's really cheap. You can take calls on this. Calls are pretty cheap. So came back over here, started to flag a little bit. Broke through the flag this morning. Rose up over here. There's definitely a ton of volume in this guy. Some very organized, steady price action as well. And if we look at, this is a biotech company. So keep an eye on this information over here. The fact is that, there might be some good positive news results. I took a look and all the clinical trial results came out back in October. So this is probably that favorability since then. And the stock has been steadily climbing into the gap through the 200 SMA. Plenty of room all the way up to 1860. If I drew some of the, I know you're not going to be able to see it. So I'm going to flash just a trading view chart because I've been messing around with some AVWAPs on here. So basically what I've done is on this chart, just drawn AVWAPs at the IPOs and super high volume candles. You'll notice that, they kind of start to spread out. And then when a stock is making a trend over time, they sort of converge. So all these AVWAPs are converging at around $14.50. So that would probably be the ceiling on the trade, not the gap fill, because this is where all your average buyers, they're not in profit, so they're probably going to try to break even at this point. Some of the AVWAPs from here, we're already kind of blown through that. So not really too crazy about this. And this is a catalyst move, so oftentimes they'll break and you'll see a retest, but with a catalyst, you're going to just see steady buying. They may not always retest it on some kind of fundamental change in the stock. So, this is going to come down $14. So you got a nice chance to take 100% on that stock. Oops, sorry. And I like it if I look at it just on an intraday basis. So stock came up over here, broke up over here through the AVWAP. It might come back and test this level at 1681. If we see a little bounce, might take that. So that's one thing to keep in mind. All right, let's take a look at the market. So market has made a pretty big move in a short amount of time. If we look at the move it made this week on a weekly chart, while that loads. So on this low here of 567, high of 597. So that's 30 points. That's $300 high to low on the market. 300, or $30 on 570. Um, geez, that's almost a 5% move. Yeah, this is a really, really big move in the market, right? You kind of see these candles after these reversals. So giant move in the market. Um, my guess is that we're probably going to come in a little bit, test the bid. I'm looking for some kind of like weak bear trend day or just like a red solo. If we go back to the previous year-end trend, I want to just see a day like this, right, where it's like we get some selling, like just a little bit of a test the bid, and then buyers come back in. This will when I see a day like this, I'm going to enter some nice, relatively strong stocks. So these are nice entry points for taking these swings. Now, if we start to get a couple of these in a row, right, then you start to be a little more cautious. All right, so that's what I'm looking for. Again, it's made a pretty big move and waiting for it to come in. Now, where would it possibly find support? So we could have it at the open. That's one level. We may have a quick test the open at 593. I also put in the anchored VWAP from the open of the November 6th candle. This is a pretty big event. So I thought, all right, I mean, this is going to converge up. Might find some support at 592. All the buyers who are in profit here, right, they're going to buy back at this level because the average buyer is in profits over here. So you can see there's how I'm using the levels. I don't want to clutter my charts with AV apps, but I think select events, right? Really heavy volume events, big, earnings catalysts, stuff like that. That's all going to be very, very helpful. So on a D1 long-term basis here, I mean, we're pretty much all systems go, right? We're all systems go. If I go to my Outlook, I haven't really changed anything. Now, look, we had a nice break and a follow through. I'm expecting a day or two, or maybe even 3 days, just to rest or digest the gains. We might see some light volume sideways candles here. If we compress for a little bit, that's bullish. So just start to think of the scenarios, right? The chance we keep going up here is going to be more minimal. I'm expecting the pullback. We could see one little red candle. We could see some tiny compressions over here as the market pulls back. So you can see some tiny compressions. We could see a long red candle and long red candle, long red candle, right? This stack chunks. That's probably not going to happen unless something really drastically changes, like some terrible economic news that totally has institutions revise their price points. So, um, that's kind of in favor, but I'm not expecting anything too much. What I'm expecting, again, if I go back to this end of the year rally, we got a breakout on nice volume. I'm expecting just a little bit of a bid check here. Maybe something like this. That's kind of what I'm watching for here. It's not really going to come down too much. We're just going to kind of float higher, maybe compress for a little bit, find a couple of red days, and then we're going to get some lift off. So that's what I think is the most likely scenario. And maybe a minor dip or a little tail. I'd love to see a little dip and a tail here down to 590, 593. That'd be a little check of support here. And to think, if we come back and test this, I mean, it's fine. It's just a little bit more bearish. So, I think this is the best case support level. This is still a good support level. This tells us that, all right, I mean, we're in a little bit of danger because a ton of this moved retraced, and that's not what we expected. And if we test the 50 SMA right, something has really, really changed in the stock. I've also drawn this bullish channel here, and you can see we got a couple of high volume touches, 1, 2, 3, touching it over here. And we have a little bit of reaction to that channel stalling out. Can we break through? Sure. Is this a strong level of resistance? Not really. It's okay. But we got 3 touches. I think it's a valid trend line. And we have a pretty parallel lines in the channel. Very stringless structure. A lot of trades and institutions are looking at that. So they may think, look, this is a good time to take some temporary profits, and we could see some stalling out. Now, another thing that is interesting is that we're not seeing a rally in QQQ or IWM. So that's interesting because we usually want tech to rally, right? So IWM made a really big move on the gap up. It made like a 6% move. So it may need a little bit more time to digest the gains. It's also a bit of a choppier stock. I'm going to take a look at what is actually going up today, because if let's see here. Okay, so SPY is up 30, 0.35%. Looks like finance is doing well, discretionary is doing well. But yeah, tech ETFs are on the weaker side. IWM is pretty flat for today. RSP is up slightly. TLT is doing pretty well. But yeah, it looks like discretionary is up quite a bit today. And I'm going to take a look at the sectors. Real estate utilities are getting some love. Industrials are doing decent today. Healthcare, yeah. So, I mean, finance is up a little bit today, but tech is flat, comms is flat, energy is down, bats are down. And also, if I check the, like do the Nasdaq, yeah, the 52-week high low. Actually, a lot of stocks are making highs, so it is still mildly bullish. Looking at the ratio between these two numbers here, so this is about 4-1. Pretty decent. Pretty decent. So yeah, not too bad here. So intraday, right? We talked about our longer term basis. Again, we're bullish technically and fundamentally. Shorter term, I am bullish, but I'm gonna wait for a dip. So I'm not super bullish right now. I would be much more bullish over here. Not as bullish right now, right? The move has some chance to move, literally. And I would rather wait for a dip. So intraday, we got a small gap up here. You can see the volume is very low. Some mixed overlapping candles. A little tail here moving up, right? So every time we get a move up, right, we get a check, move up, and now we're starting to flatten out. So you see this rounding pattern, right? This rounding pattern over here tells us that the trend is slowly shifting from bullish to neutral to a little bit bearish. Now, we could still get, this could just be a little dip, and this is the dip we want to get back in the trend. I like to see a little bit more of a meaningful dip, and that will tell us that that'll help us really zero into the stock. So not looking to take anything crazy today. I was marking a couple of charts, again, that have some really nice volume. UPST, absolute monster today, up over 40%, almost a doubler. So really nice stock. It's made a massive, powerful move. I'd wait for a little pullback in the stock. I think this is going to be a really nice one to set alerts on. So look, this is a strong stock. Okay, so what are you going to do? I am just going to create an alert, and I'm going to buy an M5 alert. So it's going to dip sometime in the next, either today or tomorrow. We're going to get a dip. That buy signal is going to come in, and I'm going to buy it. That's pretty much what's going to happen. So this is a strong stock that's breaking out. App, another one, massive move in the past couple days. Really nice volume. So again, we got the buy signal here. That was a pretty nice buy signal end of day. Broke through this upward sloping trend line. I probably would have gotten it earlier in the day here. Stock has moved up a pretty nice amount since then. Moved up about $10. Let me check my alerts. I do have a buy signal on app. Okay. And we're just going to look at some other picks for today. Okay, on, not bad. You have earnings coming up soonish. It's looking decent. Yeah. It's a nice little breakout of that flag. FDX. Not a bad, it's choppy, but this is definitely short-term tradable. Let's see, I'm going to create an alert here. Yeah, it's not bad. It's short-term tradable. What I would watch out for here on FDX is I'm gonna take out this earnings candle here. you can draw through these earnings candles. All right, so that's probably, watch out for maybe something like that. FTNT, that stock has been doing really well. Oh yeah, beautiful move after the earnings. Now, nice steady action. Dip down below here. I like this little dip. Nice, probably pretty decent chance to buy here. So look, what am I looking for here? Watching for a dip in SPY, and I want to see a stock that is relatively strong. That's pretty much it. So, look for stocks with relative strength. I got a pretty big list here. So let's look at some stocks, that have some really nice RVOL, really nice relative strength. I have 50 stocks here. Toast, big move. AAOI, massive move. That's a beautiful move here. UPST we talked about. Bill. Looked at FDNT, TVTX. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of picks. So, I think the picks that I'm gonna get today, Tesla's pretty nice. TVTX has got to make a little bit more of a move here. Okay, looks like Tesla is there's CRM, so it broke through here. Looks like it's coming back to test this level. And it also hit this all-time high, so that's going to be an important level. If you break through that, that's pretty nice, but you also want to get in a little bit early so you have some room to the all-time high to see how it bounces. Look, if it can break through that, we could be in good shape. Set an alert there on CRM. That's a nice, again, these are nice strong stocks that you can just buy dips on. All right. Maybe I'll take a look at Bill here. Just going over here. Maybe like to see a little double bottom. Find some support. So yeah, that's what I'd be doing over here. All right. So, I got to give a pick for this video. I've been rambling on, and I am stuff. There's a lot of like nice looking stocks here. A lot of nice looking charts. PanW is a fan favorite. Also like Hood. Okay, well, I think I am. Do like this breakout on Tesla as well. It's also getting through this. Yeah, pretty major support level over here. Yeah, I think I am. I think I'm gonna go with Tesla. I think that's gonna be my pick of the day. It has some nice relative strength to the market here. You can see how getting this test, double bottom, higher low. We're on a buy signal. We're finding some support here. We're flagging up really, really well. And while the market is moving down. So what I'm looking for personally is a move that will, I think it might be a little bit too shallow, but something like that. Some sort of move where, look, so we got this 1OP production here, right? So that's pretty nice. Now on our 1OP bearish cycle, we have diverged. It's looking pretty good. You can see 1OP's flatlining here as the stock is compressing. So I'd like to see some sort of a decent cross up. And that'll get me to get in on the signal. I also like to wait for the market to come in a little bit and find some support. So I think Tesla is going to be the pick of the day. Really like what I see in the stock. And, definitely has room to go to 320. So, it's going to be the pick of the day. And as I mentioned, we got another couple of swing longs that we're keeping an eye on. Netflix, Amazon, Reddit, I like quite a bit. And the list is going on and on. GS is good. Cat is not bad either. PLTR. So have your list of strong stocks. Set your alerts on dips. You're going to get a chance to get in on these stocks in the next couple of days, in my opinion. And on the day trade side here, we're keeping it pretty light. All you need today is one really great stock, find a great entry that's flagging, and then get a good, get a good price on that, and you're good to go. So thank you for watching, everyone, and we will take a look at how these picks did in the video tomorrow, or I guess on Monday.